Hello, parents of the class of 2021. I'm going to go through the presentation with you for facts about this year. So again, welcome to everyone. This is our big year. The students are 8th grade. You've been thinking about this for a long time. And we do have a year that's very different. So let's take a look at what this year looks like. So first of all, we have just our Winfield School Code of Conduct that you're all familiar with, which is basically the golden rule: to treat others the way you would like to be treated, to be respectful, responsible, be safe, have a positive attitude, and know that it's the responsibility and obligation of each student to learn. And of course, we have our COVID-19 health protocols as well. We have the 5 tenets that have been sent out to you all: washing hands, cleaning surfaces, physical distancing, wearing masks, and staying at home when you're sick. I want to point out we have our study hall time, which is from 2 to 3 each day. The links are here for Mr. Baker, Ms. Odell, Mrs. Madden, and myself. Please encourage your child to come to study hall between 2 and 3. If they ever need any help at all, we're here for them. I want to go over our expectations for our students, for your children. We just really always want them to do their very best. As 8th graders, it's really important that they get into the habit of completing all their classwork on time, thoroughly, following directions. One thing we'd like to encourage is active participation. We'd like to see a little bit more of that from our 8th graders. Be respectful of themselves and others, and advocate for themselves. Especially going into high school next year, they're going to have to feel comfortable going up to a teacher and asking any questions and asking for help. And if they have any issues at all, they really need to advocate for themselves as they're growing up. We put together a few tips and tools for working at home. Please make sure that your child, if they're at home, that they're logging in on time and they're reading the agenda, the daily agendas. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We'd love it if they had a place where they can, like a workspace, like this is my workspace, these are my things, I'm here, I'm well organized, they're dressed for success. Get up and every morning and get ready for school, whether you're here or you're at home. Please encourage your child to be involved in the conversations in class. Talk to your teacher if they ask you questions or for comments. Don't type the responses in. We want to have conversations even if the students are at home. One thing that I have found very helpful is I put my tabs up for the morning in the order of my classes. So that's a tip that maybe the students might want to try. This is the daily schedule. So period 1, half the class has pre-algebra, the other half specials. Then they have social studies, science. Period 4 is specials for the whole class. Period 6, the other class has algebra, and the other half of the class has specials. And then their snack and their ELA class. So here are some information from Miss Odell. You might want to take some time to go back and read all of this. She has icons that she uses to help the students know what they're doing. For example, the pencil icon is for taking notes. So she has the different icons that you might want to go back and look at. All her topics that she's teaching this year in pre-algebra are listed here. And while the pre-algebra students are in pre-algebra, the algebra students are in the specials, and their schedule is there. This is the social studies. This year they are American History 2. And these are our topics for this year. We start out with Thomas Jefferson, the expansion and reform of the country. We move on to our country developing its own identity, and then learning all about Andrew Jackson, the expansion of our country, the Trail of Tears, Indian removal, the Oregon Trail, the Gold Rush, and all the different arts and literature that developed in the 1800s. And then, of course, we're talking about the differences between the North and the South, and how that all led to the Civil War. We study the Civil War and the time immediately afterwards where we're reconstructing the country. And then, of course, woven in all that is active citizenship in the 21st century and current events. So we do have brand new textbooks. It's all online. I don't know if your child has told you about them. We're still getting to learn how they work. I think it's going to be a wonderful resource ultimately once we get more used to using it. It has interactive maps, timelines, videos, all embedded in the text, which is just a wonderful feature. So, we read about our topics, we have discussions, we respond to all that information in various ways. Of course, the traditional question and answer, writing paragraphs, short essays, completing various projects. Like we just finished a Google Slides presentation where they were teaching each other about their topics. Every class, they have an agenda, a daily agenda. So here's an example of an agenda from social studies, where the objective of the day is there, what the classwork is. If there's any homework, it's listed there. I'm really not giving much homework at all, but if classwork is not finished, that becomes homework. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. And then any links that we need are also listed right in the agenda. These are the science topics for the year. There's natural selection and evolution, history of the earth, conservation of resources, and human impact is in the curriculum for 8th grade. And here's an example of a science agenda. So when the students come in, they go right to their agenda and they know what they're doing for the day. Period 4, all the students are together for these specials. So art, music, financial literacy, phys ed, and music. Then half the class has algebra. The other class has these specials listed here on the bottom corner. And Ms. Odell, again, has gone through the topics for algebra over on the left. And again, she explains her icons and the tests and quizzes when they're happening. And like everyone, she's encouraging people to please, please, please come on between 2 and 3 for help. Here's an example of her daily agenda, and she does a weekly agenda so people can look at things for the whole week. These are the topics for reading and writing for ELA. So you're reading multiple novels, and then all the work kind of centers around the novel. They're reading The Outsiders, which is a big favorite of many people, writing a memoir. Then they're going to focus on chains. They talk about slavery a lot in that unit. And then we have the marking period 3 is the Holocaust unit. This year they'll be reading Night and The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. And then the final unit, they're focusing on works of Edgar Allan Poe. This is a sample agenda for reading and language arts. Please take the time to go back through and read all of the information. The grading scale is what you're used to. This is determined by the Winfield Board of Education. Please, I want to remind you that you can monitor your child's grades by going into the parent portal on OnCourse. I grade things very quickly and post, and please keep track of your child's progress. And if you have any questions, let us know. As I mentioned before, there isn't really that much homework being assigned. If there is classwork that hasn't been finished, that does need to be done if noted by the teacher. Sometimes if we'll move things over to the next day, dependent. So, the teacher will let the students know if they need to finish it or not. We're really not using homework planners in 8th grade. If they want to, I encourage them to do it. It's in their binder. I know that works really well for some people. So again, the grades are on OnCourse. Please monitor your child's progress. We have sent, actually, Ms. Cassie sent invitations right at the beginning of the year for Google Classroom. That way we can send reports directly to you, so you can also monitor your child's progress for the assignments that are on Google Classroom. So if you haven't accepted that invitation, please do so. If you can't find the invitation or you need another invitation, please let us know. I did want to point out that all of our curriculum is based on the most current New Jersey student learning standards. These are our emails, which I'm sure you all know already, but if you need that resource, it's here. And I just wanted to say we are looking forward to this last year with your students. It might be different than what we anticipated. I still am holding out hope that we'll be able to do some of the special activities as 8th graders, but it will be what it'll be. And I promise that we'll do something very special at the end of the year regardless, and we'll have a nice celebration for this wonderful group of children. So I hope you found this informative. Please reach out to any of us if you have any questions. Take care, guys. Stay safe.